We gotta do it all over again. I didn't push the start button. Okay, what do you have to say to the whiners and complainers, Kenny?
I forgot.
I had a brain fart.
All you can say is life. All you can say is life. Life isn't easy. You'll get through this, and if you can't, you weren't meant to. It's Darwinism. I think it's a blessing that we're supposed to stay in.
How so?
Now that our fine prime minister has made sure that any artists that lost gigs are compensated, I can stay in my apartment till I run out of chocolate milk. I'm good. I mean, how did Nelson Mandela survive 27 years in prison without Netflix? How did he pull it out? Those are the things I'd like to know.
What about Anne Frank?
Anne Frank had to clean. Anne Frank couldn't even go to the grocery store. Mind you, I have a lot more room than Anne Frank did. But I suspect most apartments in New York are about the size of where she had. So, it's I'm sad to hear that your friends in New York think we can't hold on, because New York has always been the epitome of American toughness to the world. And it's sad to, if you can't take it there, baby, you can't take it anywhere. America collapse. Mind you, the people that are going around that are protesting the lockdown, they cannot collapse soon enough for my liking.
Tell me about that.
Oh, I was watching it just a minute ago on CNN, and whether you got American flags everywhere, but not too many masks, no gloves, lots of heavy-set women with American flag tits hanging everywhere, and then you see signs like "Obey Jesus" or "Ban gay marriage." So if you stayed in your house, how would you know that any gays were married, and why would it offend you? So it's the worst side of American society that's out there now, and I don't mean to wish evil, but I will kind of giggle when they get dry coughs. As long as you have a wet and mucousy phlegmy one, you're okay. But when it's dry, it means the ooga booga has entered your environment.
Oh my God. Who's your inspiration? Whose comedy did you, like, when you're talking, I'm hearing George Carlin.
Probably more prior than Carlin.
Okay.
Carlin only in the last couple of years of his career, but it was mostly prior. But then when I look back, there was like Red Fox, there was Jonathan Winters, there was everybody that you saw on the Tonight Show, basically. Did
you ever get to know David Brenner?
No, I got to know David Say, but I never got to know David.
Is that a whole nother talk show?
The David Say show? Well, I was just a young opener MC kind of starting out, and he was, the savvy guy from New York that did all these Tonight Show appearances, and he told me, like, when giving a proper introduction, when giving credits, if it's an older crowd, you mention Frankie Avalon, or you mention opening up for Tony Bennett, and then when it's a younger crowd, you mention the rock bands. But look at the crowd and think about which credit is most likely to impress the majority of that crowd. Before, that never dawned on me. Just, say whoever you open for and mention it. They said, well, think about which one's going to get the audience more excited. So even just correcting a young pup, without rubbing my nose in it, just saying, well, this makes sense. I'm going, yeah. So, I've been very lucky that, I've been in the game for over 40 years, but I'm very lucky that the older people I met, for the most part, were kind and supportive to me.
Well, when I'm on stage at like doing comedy for just comics at a mic or at a little show, they don't seem to,
You mean the open mics?
They don't seem to be so impressed that I've done nursing homes and transitional housing and train Amtrak bus, Amtrak and bus tours. They don't seem to care. What's up with that?
Of course not, because their parents haven't been in transitional housing yet. Nursing homes is something, you couldn't pay me to go to a nursing home to perform.
Why? Because the callbacks don't work?
Well, that's something. But my mom, she passed a couple of years ago. But I did that 2 or 3 year dance of dementia with her.
Yeah.
So
Where'd you
I
go?
want somebody in the middle of the punchline is going, help! And I'm saying, lady, I'm not that bad. Help! Wait, I haven't gotten to the bad stuff yet. So it's just, it takes a lot of compassion and humanity for someone to do that. And I'm shallow. I'm not that deep of a person that I can pull that off. You have to know your own weaknesses.
I just, like 40 years in the business, I want to take you back to the very first time you got on stage. Can you bring out
Oh,
that
yeah.
guy?
Well, the very first time I was 5 years old in Montreal, my dad is a booking agent, and there was a jazz club called Rockheads, and we had just gone for dinner, and he had to stop in there to get his commission. So he said, okay, well, come in and behave. So I was all dressed up, and while he was in the office, I saw the piano and a microphone on stage. I couldn't play piano, but I could bang on keys like any other 4-year-old could. And I took the stage and I did Mac the Ninth and My Baby Don't Care for Shows, My Baby Don't Care, you know. So anyway, I remember there was a redheaded woman in a black or dark green velvet-looking gown in the front row, laughing and clapping. And that was the birth of a stage junkie. But the first time doing stand-up, I went out and I did impressions. I did all the dead Warner Brothers guys, Bogart, Cagney, Edward G. Robinson. Well, I got it because who was I watching? I was watching Rich Little and Frank Borgia. So then after about the second time going up there, it dawned on me, you don't really have that many voices, and it's really hard to write a little sketch for each character you did. So then, I had been listening to Pryor, but then I said, okay, let's try and get more personal about what you're doing. And many times I wish I had remained an impressionist.
Yes.
Nobody ever walks out on an impressionist. Nobody's ever offended by an impressionist.
Never.
When you decide to cut your own path, boy, do people have issues.
Oh my gosh. So the very first time you went on stage was that time that you just spoke of. Who in your career has been the biggest inspiration or help to your career that you want to mention?
Oh, well, there's several. Okay, well, there's 3 or 4. Like when I started out doing stand-up in Chicago, there was Jim Fay, who's he's R.I.P., but he was he was the house MC at Zanies when they first opened, and they had to do nonstop comedy from 8 p.m. to like 2 a.m. So he had an improv background, so he had a group called the Chicago Comedy Rangers that Second City built a second review around. But anyway, so Faye was one of those guys that said, you're really funny, you're smart, you're this, you should smile more. It took me 30 years from that point to learn how to smile on stage. And he said, you don't have to be so blue. And then he told me and then my other influence when I started out was a Chicago comic named Orlando Reyes, who he had his hair like Barry White and he had this real smooth goatee. And, Orlando would have been what people would have considered a bad influence. He took me to do gigs at mob joints at 4 a.m, someplace called the Stay Out All Night Long Disco, where the show started at the time, starts at the time where now I get up to go pee. But, it started late at night then, and his wife would have a gun in her purse, and, and he was all about, yeah, go get you some money, big kid, and, and he spoke on stage, and he had a fancy cigarette lighter, and he'd pull it out, and the audience go, ooh, and he'd go, thank you, white bitch got it for me. And, that was the kind of stuff that he would do. So Jim said to me, maybe you should hang out with Doc, which was Arsenio Hall's nickname. But, A, Arsenio didn't want no young kid hanging out with him, and B, Arsenio was Orlando. Orlando took me where strippers were hanging out afterwards, or there might be drugs stronger than marijuana, so Orlando was a big influence. And, he took you in those rooms where, you had to deliver. So there's Jim Fay telling me the difference between a comedian, and then Orlando saying, that's funny. And then, Later on, Mark Breslin, who owns the Yuck Yucks clubs here, he's been a good influence and very helpful over the years. And in the last few years, my good friend Darren Frost, who's a comic that we do shows together. As you get older, you get dropped from rosters and what have you. So Frost, he always kept us working, saying, "Hey, man, we were getting better money than we were getting when we were rostered. We were getting door deals and percentages, and the slogan became, if we only had 20 more people, or some nights only 10 more people, makes a difference between just short of breaking even and having money where you can brag." And that's all it takes. With 10 more people at $20 a head, that's an extra $100. That's that's the extra 100 that you buy the kids. You slide each kid $50, and you say, "Go get running shoes if you need them." And they go, "I can't get no shoes for $50." And you go, 20 more people, then I could give you the $100 shoes. So that's basically, those four people have been, influential in my beginning, my throughout, and hopefully not the end.
So in 40 years of comedy, what really would you say, if you had 3 things to say to younger comics, younger on stage, because I'm 69.
Okay.
How
are you?
Yeah.
You pretty hot looking broad for 69.
Thank you. I like it when people...
I thought you were going to give me shit for saying broad.
I'm a boomer. I'm a broad because I'm a boomer.
Okay, that's good. I hate that expression, sorry, boomer. It's like, yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Okay, whatever it is. So the 3 things I would say to young comics now. If you're in school, stay in school. Get that trade, get that profession. Get that fallback on. Back when I started out, fallback was a dirty thing. It was dirtier than anything I ever was going to say on stage. The next thing would be read as much as you can. Read. The more you read, the more the greater your knowledge is, and the more you'll write. And guess what, kids? You're never going to have enough material. Like when I was doing cruise ships, it took me a while to catch on that some people were going to see all 5 shows. I thought, well, once you see the dirty show once and my clean show once, you're good. No, they came back for the later show. They were there at 9, then again they're there at 10:40. It's like, don't you guys have a buffet to enjoy? Aren't you tired from the sun? Oh, we heard this already. Well, yeah, I didn't know I had to have 5 separate 40-minute spots for you guys. And then the third one, I would tell the kids, work clean. If you work blue like I have, it means that you don't get a lot of action in December. Not only do you not get the Christmas gigs, but the clubs who book Christmas gigs into them, those whores will not book you. Meanwhile, everybody loves filth. Does say, "Oh, it's December, we can't be raw anymore." But they have the attitude, "Well, we're booking corporate Christmas groups in here, and we don't want anybody offended." And the truth is, it may not be offensive on a regular night, but when the assistant manager has his uptight wife there and she's offended, then he's got to be offended. Then all of a sudden, everybody's offended.
Yes.
So I tell them, work clean so that way you can't be denied. I've done more TV than a lot of the comics in Canada have. But if you work clean, they cannot deny you the corporate gigs. And in fact, I guess my batting average is about 500 with corporate gigs. I either really kill, or they try to jack me for the money out the door back. As far as I'm concerned, you stole the money from juvenile diabetes. And I guess I lost that audience because I said I have diabetes type 2, which means I earned my disease. And then they had dinner. I was saying, "I'm surprised you didn't tell them not to give you bread. The carbs aren't good for your sugars, And they hated me from the word go with that one. So sometimes you don't even have to be dirty to offend them. You just have to be to offend them. But I would definitely tell the younger comics, yeah, I love filth. I love it. In fact, one time I was in Hawaii, went to a comedy club there, and there's a guy who was his credits where he was voted Vegas Entertainer of the Year 3 times. I went, this ain't Wayne Newton, but he went and did his stuff, and he was an impressionist, but he was really soft and lame. And I actually walked out, and I said, "Ain't this a bitch?" I said, "You're a man who once had 56 walkouts in one venue, and you walk out because this guy didn't have any offensive material."
Wow.
So this, back then I would just call it lame, but it dawned on me he didn't have anything edgy, didn't have anything made me say, "Oh shit!" Just okay, that's nice. I go, if I go home now, I can get up earlier in the morning, be on the beach before the sun rises. So it's a lifetime of things.
You've done acting, film, and
Yeah. I've been I was a regular on Doc with Billy Ray Cyrus, which I think was on one of the Christian networks down there in the States.
Didn't he have a daughter?
Yes, she was just a precocious little thing then, and they just were starting to let her do a couple of scenes here and there. But you couldn't have asked for a nicer guy to work with, Like a director would give him advice on how to deliver a line and where to stand, and he wouldn't argue. He goes, "I believe you're right," So just, and then when they get in line for lunch, better get in there. It's good today, So he was always really super and very personable. So, when all I knew about him before that was Achy Breaky Heart, it was nice to find out that he was really. Then I asked him one time, "Do you ever auction off your cowboy hats for auctions?" He goes, "Yes, you need one?" I go, "No, I don't really need one, but I was just asking a question." But there he was. If I wanted a Billy Ray Cyrus autograph hat, I could have got it.
Wow. Is it too late?
I should have took the hat, because over the years I know I could have got a lot of gals wearing nothing else but that hat on. Can I just? Yes, you come over, just take off. You can leave the hat on. So also I have one of those. I have a Christmas card that they have printed up with a picture of the family. It goes, "From our family to yours." So I told this one girl that he was my cousin. I said, "Practically, he says, from our family to yours. That makes us almost relatives, doesn't it?" And they went, "No, Kenny, read it differently." And I said, "Damn, almost fooled you."
Speaking of
I've done some acting work. I mean, I started out at doing extra work in Chicago. I was in the original Blues Brothers, and after seeing how the extras were treated there, I decided I'm not going to try and make money as an extra too often. But it was great though, because I learned things like I was a fire captain in one scene, but they took away all the uniforms from the extras, so we were just supposed to wear the uniform pants and a wife beater or a white T-shirt, because the guys who were dressed as cops would wander off the set and go to restaurants, and in Chicago, cops don't pay for meals. So you get all these guys that weren't real cops, and they're eating, and they're, and can I get a steak sandwich? And then finally, why are there so many cops here eating for free? I've never seen this guy on this beat before. So when John Landis and the production company found out, they said, "Okay, you only get the shirt when we're about to roll."
Oh, wow. So are you related?
Funny how I got into. I'm sorry. I was going to say, it's even funny how I got in that movie. I was taking acting classes at the Goodman School of Theater, and there's one of the other kids in my class, Cephas Booker, he goes, "You want to be in movies?" I said, "Why do you think I'm taking these stupid classes?" He goes, "No, go down to the Illinois Welfare Office. They're hiring all the extras there for Blues Brothers, because they needed thousands of extras." And I guess part of the deal, that's what you gotta love about Chicago, is, you want our cooperation? Well, how about some jobs for our citizens? So, you had to go down to the welfare office to enlist to get chosen to become an extra.
Wow. Hey, are you related to Edgar G?
No, but I used to tell people I was related to Smokey. Edward G. Robinson was one of the impersonations I first did when I started out.
Oh, I want to hear it.
Okay, let me think. My favorite scene is my favorite Edward G. Robinson is Key Largo, because you had Bogart in there, but I was actually rooting against Bogart sometimes.
Okay.
It's me, Johnny Rocco, see? Biggest of the big shots. When I say jump, people say how high. And then, of course, he had that alcoholic girlfriend that wanted another drink and goes, "Sing it like you used to, doll." And then she sang, and then, "Can I have the drink now?" "No, you're rotten." So, just that really, I think I might have been 12 when I saw that, and that just massaged every inch of whatever misogynist muscles I would have. So I thought that was that was probably one of my favorite ones then.
Thank you. That was wonderful.
It was painful.
So, what's your favorite thing that's ever happened in your comedy career?
Oh. When I did the Nasty show in Montreal, the headline said Robinson owned the Nasty show simply because I was nastier than everybody else. And that was good, but nothing happened. Not one single gig happened after that review. I thought it was going to be the beginning of my career. Then, no, nobody cares about a nasty guy. Things changed since then. One time in Saskatoon, before I was moving down to San Francisco, I walked on stage first. The audience gave me a standing ovation. That was pretty cool.
Nice.
People lifting their blouse is always a favorite of mine when it happens. Doesn't happen often, but it's good when it does. I don't know. I've been blessed with a lot of things over the years.
Yes.
Coming off stage and seeing Kiefer Sutherland at the side in the back of the room leaning against the bar.
Wow.
Things like that. Taping a TV special with my mother in the audience.
Wow.
That was nice. Had a couple of those. Had a series for a while, so she was there for a lot of that taping. Having a 13-week TV show where I was able to hire friends and people who I didn't know, but saw something in their talent, as writers and performers. That was very, very cool. So I've been blessed.
Yes.
I've been blessed. I've gotten to perform in the UK. I've gotten to perform in South Africa. Done the cruise ships. Through my friend Russell Peters, I got to actually go on a private jet once in my life.
Wow.
So, I've done limos. I've been in a private jet.
What is it like knowing Russell Peters?
Well, I was one of the guys that he looked up to when he started out. So it was. Now I call him the Brown Sinatra because he's kind and he's powerful and he's generous and he hasn't become a jerk. When somebody passes away, usually he'll pick up the funeral tab. Or he'll fly somebody in whose parent, his dad just died. So, he'll take them on the road for 10 days doing gigs. And you do everything first class when you roll with Russell.
Oh.
Everything you get to get on a plane with one of those sleeping pods that you get in there. And his whole entire entourage meets up to have lunch and dinner at the same time, and he'll go, let's go to the mall. And or he took me shopping in San Francisco once, and he says, you want a couple of suits? I went, no, I'm good. And I kept running towards everything said marked down. He's going, stop looking at the marked down. And he goes, get whatever you want, I don't care. And I said, well, yeah, but I don't want to spend too much on one item. So but there was no shortage with him, So it was, it gives you an idea of what the big time would have been like, could have been like, should have been like, or is like, and he shares it with people.
Oh.
So and he never forgets his friends from the old days. Like he used to sleep on Patrice O'Neal's couch when he used to go to New York back before any of them, had two nickels to rub together. There's comics that were friends he made when he was touring England, and he flies them over across, and they spend 2 weeks rolling with him on the road, and it's none of this. You two openers share a hotel room. No. He's got a suite, but you got a really nice room. So it's. I wish my vocabulary was bigger, but he's a Brown Sinatra.
That's so funny and so cool. That's the greatest thing you can tell a person.
Yeah, people rather hear something bad about somebody at that level.
No.
But, I've been doing this show. I've been booking in Toronto for 25 years, the Nubian show, which started out. There's only like 3 or 4 comics of color in the entire country when I started this. So like Kevin Hart used to drive in from Philadelphia for like 150 Canadian, which converted to US was like about $90. So my son, gotta love you kids. Dad, you ever hear a comic named Kevin Hart? I said, yeah, go in the garage and there's a bunch of cardboard boxes marked taxes. Go in there, and you might find 2 autographs next to when I paid them. So that was, yeah, that's it. But,
You crack me up. Oh,
well,
so
I think the kid was scared of the raccoon that got in the garage. That's why he didn't go find the autographs. But I think otherwise his mother would be pissed at me because you told him to go wreck the garage. He said, no, he said go find the autographs.
so this whole shutdown, has it affected your pocketbook to a large degree? Or are you accepting donations, or what's it?
Well, not really, because I haven't been working too much lately. That's why I laugh at all these comics. Oh, I've had everything booked till August. I said, motherfucker, I didn't have nothing booked past April. Boo hoo hoo, But I've got Sound Exchange royalties from my airplay on XM. They've come in. So we were able to take care of that on that. I've been doing workshops for youth at risk. That there's a small honorarium with each one. So there's that. And our prime minister decided that each artist shall now get $2,000 a month until things are better.
Wonderful.
So I'm saying, well, really, $2,000 a month. It can last forever as far as I care. I don't never have to leave the house again.
Wow. So, as far as needing donations, you're good.
Yeah, who doesn't need money? But I see so many other comics, sweating and, having their, come watch me perform comedy in my kitchen without an audience, and will you send $10? Or somebody suggested to me that I start my own channel and charge $9.99 a month. And I'm going, well, that would mean I'd have to give product. I never taped a lot of sets like some guys did. And you know what? You can get Netflix for $9.95 a month. How am I going to compete with Netflix? I don't have tigers. There's no straight guys that's saying they became gay because I gave them crystal meth. No, you can't compete with Netflix. I understand people are hurting, and we have to realize that, comedy may be changing. When will the clubs open? Will people feel safe again to open? Will feel safe again to come to clubs? Like, do you want to sit next to 4 strangers when they're laughing and all kinds of gobs flying out of their mouth? No. So technically, people may want the tables 6 tables apart. Well, club owners ain't going to love that. And, it changes them from having 250 people in the audience to having maybe 80 people. So, yeah, that may, so we don't know when that will be considered a victory when you can do that again. So, people are going, comedy's dead. Well, it isn't. It's changing. You have to change with it or you die.
Exactly.
Everything that changes, if it doesn't change, it dies. It's like, when vaudeville died. Oh, my God, what are we going to do? They've got these new things called movies. I don't know, Groucho. What do you think? You think anybody might want to see you and your brothers on the silver screen? Oh, so then that killed radio, right? That's where I'm getting most of my splash from. It's radio, it's XM radio, but it's still radio. And then, hey, there's TV. TV's going to really ruin the motion picture business. And then I remember when cable came together. When they used to have commercials in the movie theaters, because the movie theaters were afraid of cable. Because everybody's going to stop going to the movie, and they're going to say, do you want to be paying for what you get for free now, and you won't be able to see movies in the theaters? So they had you sign petitions. So as a 10-year-old, I signed a petition 12 times because you got to go in the movies at 9 o'clock, and about 8 o'clock, my mom would come drag me out there. Where the hell have you been all day? You're supposed to go at supper. I said, well, it's the 5th time I sat through The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Mom. I'm sorry. So, but I know every line of dialogue. You're too stupid to know anything. So, so then that changed. So, people say, well, during Depression, comedy's always good. Well, during Depression, you're not worried about the fucker next to you coughing or sneezing, killing you. But, so there will be changes. A couple of strippers I met while doing shows. I do places where they book comedy, then the strippers are sitting in the back. When are they going to be finished so we can make our money? But
what do you think?
I can't do a lap dance. I can't do a lap dance while that guy's telling jokes. So, but I mean, even they're like trying to get people. Excuse me, one second. I have to cough. It's not a dry one. But even, excuse me. I didn't cough in the elbow because when you straighten your elbow, the germs all go, we're free. But even though strippers are trying to get you $10 a month to watch them gyrate on their bed naked, and I'm saying I can get Netflix for this. I'm not going to pay 10. This is. I know you got to make a living, honey, but so we'll change things. Things will change, and you'll just have to figure out how and where. Maybe comedy will have to be done something outdoors.
Yeah.
A few times in my life I've done outdoor shows, and it's a challenge because it's more family orientated. And so after I'm watching everybody, the slightest swear word before I go on. Oh, these four. Oh, these four. And then I get on and do it without swearing. Then I'm in the back when everybody else is swearing. They said clean. If I could do clean, I don't know why you could. So, outdoor shows may become a thing.
I bought a rolling cart with a speaker and microphone yesterday, and I'm going to take it down the street at 11 o'clock. And I told all the people in these houses, come to your porch, no closer, and I'll do my comedy set.
That's excellent.
Screw it.
Well, it's like in Chicago, Maxwell Street was a market that that was predominantly Jewish up until the 40s. Then during the war, a lot of blacks from Mississippi came up, and it became like a center for all the blues bands would play on Maxwell Street, and somebody would. At every corner just about there was a band or two bands playing, or every vacant lot. There'd be a couple of bands, but in every vacant lot, there are two buildings that hadn't been knocked down yet. And what they would do is they'd pay somebody $5, and the person upstairs would throw an extension cord down to the band, and they use that to plug in their amp and plug in their harmonica and their microphone, and then they played for whatever money might get passed around.
That's so cool.
Who knows? Might have to go old school and do it Maxwell Street style.
Yes. Yes.
Guitar players been doing it for years. So I'm thinking, well, if anything, street musicians, street comics, there's been people doing their stand-up act on subways for years.
Yes, absolutely.
One thing's guaranteed: if you're doing that, your crowd work will improve immensely.
Exactly. It was when I started doing comedy for strangers at the bus stop, all of a sudden on stage, I could actually look people in the eyes.
Well, yeah, when you do comedy for people at the bus stop, that's they have other names for that. And it should have been an intervention for you, and somebody should have found somebody you could talk to. But we use whatever training grounds we have.
Yes, that's right. So I just was wondering, so where on the internet do you want people to follow you or rent or buy your video specials? How can people support you to help you?
Okay, Susan, I need your help. I have to ask my girlfriend. She knows my website. And I don't. What's my website? Do you know offhand, in case anybody'd like to order CDs? No, just go. Hold on. Okay, she's gonna look it up. Is it just KennyRobinson.com or FabulousKennyRobinson.com? Oh, that's my email. Okay, you can either email me, FabulousKennyRobinson@gmail.com. Let's see, I think I still have 2 CDs still in stock. One's called Blue, and the other one's called Filthy as Ever. And then there's a double CD I have with Darren Frost and myself called Inconvenient Truths. And it's some good stuff on there. There's Louis C.K. material on there. There's when I did a stuff about when Kanye West said that when he feels like a superhero when he wears his Trump hat. So I said, well, why don't you put it on, jump off a building, and see if you can fly, motherfucker. And should have turned the cap backwards. Would have better for aerodynamics.
Just a second, I pushed the wrong button.
My website is KennyRobinson.com.
Okay,
Why
perfect.
can't I remember that?
And what was your email again? Is that still a dry cough?
Yes, it's still dry. Would you like to see evidence?
Yes, I want to go way up your nose.
Oh, well, usually I just have to go, oh, look, but the women in my life have tried to break me of that habit over the years.
You're so...
Hey, everybody's worried about this plague, with the virus and the plague. I wanted to wipe blood on my apartment door, but my girlfriend said, "You're a pig, and get away from me." So, that is such a terrible joke, isn't it?
I want to know, there's still a few... My dad survived the Holocaust.
Okay.
Now, there's still a few living, breathing Holocaust survivors, and I wonder what they would say to the whiny little saps running around thinking...
Well, first of all, the problem is there's way too many living Holocaust deniers. There's way too many of them. And, excuse me, I got another wet one coming. Oh, there, you could hear it. You could hear the healthiness. Now I sound like every old guy at the deli. Listen to me, it's a good one. So, I imagine they would laugh. Or or maybe they'd just be speechless, just have to walk away and mutter something in Yiddish. I mean, people that have done time in jail, I'll say, look, y'all got everything. I had to fight for my cigarettes, so, or somebody was saying in the park that, the two dog walkers standing 6 feet apart, isn't this ridiculous? We can't have them off leash. This is like communist China. And I said, no, if it was communist China, you wouldn't have your fur babies because Chairman Mao decided that when there are millions of people starving, dogs and cats are bourgeois, a piece of bourgeois logic, but your fur baby would be somebody else's dinner plate for tonight.
Oh my
Because
God!
they would take your dog away, and then they would divide it up between other people in the community for the greater good. So no, it's nothing like communist China would be. In fact, I almost think communist China would be a benefit for guys like me. They get me up earlier. I'd be doing toe touches with the other old, out of shape people like me. Get into a little bit of Tai Chi, maybe. Instead of wasting money on suits, I get one really, really gray suit that I have to keep well pressed and make sure there's pleats so I stand out amongst my other workers. And if my kids ever became estranged, I could do something that would warrant the death penalty. And after the government shot me, they would bill them for the bullet. Isn't that a nice fuck you for a parent whose kids didn't appreciate their sacrifices? Not only am I dead, but you have to pay for the bullet. So, it's like he's like Hitler. No, nobody's like Hitler. Even Stalin wasn't like Hitler. Stalin didn't say I want to be the next Hitler. Stalin says, hey, I'm the very best Stalin there ever was. They're Nazis. No, not quite. You may not like them. You may find their beliefs, some of what these people are saying is unpleasant, but they're nothing like Nazis.
Yes.
And now that I have American History Channel, I can watch Nazis all night long.
This was the best TED Talk I've ever heard.
My girlfriend and Miss Finkler she'd rather not try to go to sleep with me watching Third Reich documentaries. But I try to take her. I said, but look, there's a happy ending. The Russians get back, and there's payback for everybody. But just seeing the flags in the Munich rally just gives her the heebie-jeebies. Is that anti-Semitic heebie-jeebies?
No.
So, so there it is, 4 a.m, and wait, they haven't got to where they tried to blow him up in this meeting yet. Turn the TV off. They didn't kill him, but 3 other Nazis died. It's a good story. You got to stay with it. Have you noticed how many Orthodox Jews leaving the religion shows there are now there's like 3 or 4 different ones now.
Like reality shows?
Yeah, but now it's the unorthodox. All those years we thought that there were other cults, and meanwhile they're running away from the all black with the fedora look. The series, or even the Plot Against America, where it comes on every Monday. So I'm looking forward to seeing that tonight.
Lately,
Have you watched that?
what?
Have you watched it's on HBO, The Plot Against America?
No.
It starts off with a World War II background about anti-Semitism in America, and then Lindbergh was a ferocious anti-Semite.
Wow.
Which they don't tell us that; they just teach you. And he flew across in the spirit of St. Louis. Well, Missouri. What does that tell you? But anyway, so then at one part of the series, the reality of the series is that he's become he beat Roosevelt to become president. So now they start sending Jews to new communities so they could integrate with the rest of society better. So basically showing how the camps could have happened here. I think it was originally from a book by Philip Roth wrote. So I'm going, ain't that the same guy that used a family's dinner, the liver for their dinner to masturbate with in Portnoy's Complaint? And I'm going, okay, so we're going to have to watch this then. Maybe they'll do something dirty with liver.
It'll be liver worst.
It would be the worst liver. The worst liver ever.
Give me your worst. Oh, here you got. Careful what you wish
You
for.
can have my worst. If you don't like my liver at my worst, you won't like it.
You're amazing. Thank you so much for this interview. I love you to pieces. And tell Susan tell Susan I love her too.
She loves you too, Susan. Doesn't just sound? She's just like how she sounds. Thank you. Tell her I love her too, whoever she is. But stay inside. That's your shirt? No. Well, whose shirt is that? I did laundry the other day, and now she just came out of the room holding a shirt that was really small. No, you fit that when I first met you. That's yours. Don't try to make it sound like I got some child's T-shirt. She's trying to pang something on me I'm not guilty of. Okay. You put it on the dare. Okay. You hear the way she accuses me?
Yes.
So, anyway, you stay well. Stay well. You stay well. Stay well, and good luck to your comedy on wheels.
Thank you.
And bring a comedy. If Muhammad can't come to the mountain, then the mountain will come to Muhammad.
Yes, you got it.
In fact, some neighborhoods you could call it Muhammad comedy, and you might get, you might get killed. But no, you might get a whole different audience.
I'm hoping that I can sneak into a place, and when I'm gone, they'll put my sneakers on the wire.
Yeah, I never understood totally. There's so many different reasons why they do that, but
Yeah.
I don't think the people will be doing it for a while. It'll be a long time before Foot Locker or Athlete's Wear anywhere is open again. It'll be a long time before people have the same sneakers and stuff to go through.
Yes.
Maybe I'll let you go.
Okay.
I mean, even the secondhand stores are closed.
I know it. Here
And for
goes.
some people with their budget, they're essential. But think of it. They already smelled like a disease when you walk in those stores. A lot of people never do laundry. They just hand it to the thrift store. Here you go. Oh, thanks. And most often than not, you're wearing stuff that belonged to a dead person. So, I mean, sometimes it's good that they don't reopen.
Yes.
So yeah, I don't think there'll be any sneakers on top of telephone lines for a while. So keep your sneakers. You'll need them if you're working further from home.
Thank you so much, Kenny Robinson.
Thank you.
Love you.
You have a nice day.
You too. Bye.
Take care.
Bye, Susan.
Oh yeah.
What a natural. Oh my God. Can he riff? Oh my God. That was the best ever. Okay, I'm going to go out. It's 11:45. It's almost 10 till. I got to get over and do my comedy at people's porches. Thanks for watching, you guys. All two of you. Bye.